What is actually true about a narcissist? Like, so many times there are layers and layers of lies. Maybe you've got to the place where you've exposed one or two things and you've realized it's like that string. And as you pull that string to the rug, it slowly starts to unravel the entire woven existence of your relationship together. It starts to slowly disintegrate the things that have been in your life over the past 5, 10, 20 years. It starts to make you question your reality. It starts to make you wonder what has actually been happening. You see, a lot of clients that I talk to, as they start to realize that they've been in an abusive relationship, one, they never realized it before. They just thought they had communication problems. They just thought that their marriage had issues. They just thought that's how marriages was because that's how it looked in their previous marriage. That's how it looked in growing up in their mom and dad's marriage. And so oftentimes they have this perspective of, okay, this is what's happening. And so you need to understand a lot of times narcissists will continue to manipulate this and continue to try to push you forward to be able to keep you stuck in this type of a relationship. We see this happen all the time. Now, the hard part is what do you actually believe? Because many times people will get stuck seeing a certain version of what's happening, certain version of the narcissist, certain version of reality that you want to believe or that you've ascribed to just to be able to survive. Maybe it's been, well, maybe he's going to change over a period of time. Maybe he's just struggling at work. Maybe he's just emotionally immature. Maybe there's a piece that I just don't get yet. I just have to figure something out. Maybe it's one more thing I have to change, modify, or do to myself so that I'm acceptable to him and we can actually work through this. There's always going to be something. What do you actually believe? When you look at the past in the relationship, I want you to consider the moments. The moments that happen, and you know these moments. There's moments that are good and there's moments that are bad. Now, I want you to just consider them in your mind. Maybe even just sit back for a moment, close your eyes, and I want you just to consider. Maybe even pause the video and just consider what are the good moments in the relationship. Now, you might start to have come to mind, you might have a date that you went on. You might have a vacation that you went on. You might have just a fun time. Some of these might all go back to just in the early stages, like before you got engaged or married, or just as you moved in together, whatever it might be. Or it might go back to a certain time frame, a certain time in your marriage, in your relationship. Now, I want you to just consider, what were those? And then I want you to consider for a moment, what were the events around those? Like, what had just happened before it got good? What happened right after it got good? Now, what I mean by this is I want you to think, and you're like, oh yeah, there's this date that was amazing. What happened right before it? Well, right before it, was he subtly body shaming you because of what you were going to wear? And that's why you changed 5 times because you didn't think that anything you had was good enough for him? Did you almost have an accident because on the way home from the date, he was screaming and yelling at you so much he almost swerved off the road and killed you? So I need you to put some stuff into perspective. Maybe hey, this vacation was pretty amazing, but then when you look back at it, it was pretty amazing because you went with friends, you hung out with your friend, you hardly saw your husband at all because he was just drunk off with other people. So I want you to put in a perspective, what actually here, makes sense. Because your mind wants to be able to avoid the trauma. Your mind wants to be able to avoid the issues. Your mind wants to avoid the things that have happened to protect you from the trauma that's happened to your life. Okay, so we have to actually guide you back to the place of what is actually reality. Doesn't mean we're only looking at the negative, but we do have to even some stuff out. Oftentimes you'll have these high moments. You're like, it was great and amazing, and that's what you latch onto, ignoring the 20 other things that were awful. 1 to 20, that doesn't really help you grow, change, and develop. It leaves you stuck in a toxic relationship, thinking, hoping, praying that it's going to return to those good moments when those good moments were far and few between. This doesn't make sense. Because I need you to understand, this whole process moving you forward, this whole process of developing you has to be able to take a look at the past and has to be able to say, what was real? So many people that we talk to and that come to the doors of Raw Motivation are struggling with this question. They're like, I don't know what was real. And part of it, we have to be able to step back and look and be like, hey, we know what is currently real based on the fact that he's not even here anymore. We know what's currently real based on the fact that he's moved on with someone else. We know what's currently real in this moment based on the fact that he cheated with you 20 years and he's still cheating with you now. We have to be able to put in reality. And so this whole piece of well, we had good moments, we had good times. I get it, but that wasn't good enough. The good times didn't make it sufficient enough for him to actually want to stay in the relationship because he was looking for this high. He wasn't looking for joy and connection. He was looking for this quick happiness of being with you, of having this moment where he felt good about himself, not a true connection that says, hey, how do I actually love and respect this person through the good times, through the bad times? How do I actually show up and be honest with this person when I don't feel like I'm getting what I want? Like, there's not this piece that happens in narcissism. There's like, nope, let me go find someone else. Let me go invest in someone else. And it leaves you confused, being like, I don't know what to believe. So we need to take a look at what are the facts. What are the cold, hard facts? What is the evidence? Not your feelings, not your opinions, not your ideas, not your perspective. And I need you to hear this, because if you don't do this, you will stay trapped forever. Like, this is what we walk clients through. You have to be able to look at the facts. If you don't look at the facts of the situation, you will never be free. You will still stay a slave in the relationship. You will still stay stuck in your mind, and with the rumination, with the intrusive thoughts, you will still stay locked into a trauma bond, even years after the relationship, because he's still taking up free real estate in your mind. You're not able to move forward. You're not able to get involved in another healthy relationship. And when you do get in another relationship, you get triggered all of a sudden, all of the time. And it doesn't let you heal, grow, and change. You're like, whoa, I thought I dealt with this. You didn't, because you haven't actually looked at what was actually true. What did you actually believe? If you're struggling with this right now, please go to rawmotivations.com. Schedule an appointment, because I want to be able to talk to you to help you move forward in your healing, growth, and in your development.